What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome back to my channel. I'm back with yet another schedule preview and record prediction video, and today we're going to be going through the 2020 Virginia Tech Hokies. So Virginia Tech is another team in the ACC that's only going to get better this year. They're in the top 10 nationally in returning production. I believe they're 6th overall, which is absolutely insane. They have a lot of great young talent coming back on the defensive side, guys on the offensive side coming back as well, such as quarterback Hendon Hooker and wide receiver Trey Turner. Virginia Tech all around is going to be competing for yet another spot in the ACC Championship game this year. All around, just a really good team. Last year, they were vying for a spot in the ACC Championship game and came up just short against their rival Virginia. So let's see this year, if Virginia Tech can redeem themselves from last year and get into an ACC Championship game, or if all the returning production is not going to matter in the long run for the Hokies. All right, so here's the schedule for the Hokies. Before we look into that, you'll look down there. Their record in 2019 was 8-5. They went 8-4 in the regular season. Again, came up just short for an ACC Championship game, and then lost their bowl game. They lost in the Belk Bowl to Kentucky. And then you'll look up there. Their home games are going to be in that maroon, brown, purplish shade. And then their away games are going to be in that burnt dark orange. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into the Hokies schedule. We're going to start first game of the season, and it's going to be against the Liberty Flames. So this game, you may write off really quick and say, well, Virginia Tech is easily going to win this game. But I would not count out Liberty. I would not count them out at all. Liberty is still a very, very good football team, one of the most underrated programs since they've joined the FBS, which I believe was not even too long ago. But last year did not start off the season so well, but Liberty got back to their feet and eventually made a bowl game last year. Pretty good season. I expect them to be pretty good. So I expect Liberty to be pretty good this year as well. So this game could be fun to watch for a little bit. I think Virginia Tech will end up running away with it towards the end of the game. But for a while, I think Liberty can make this an interesting game. But I'm going to give this one to the Hokies. Then it's the big non-conference game, a home game against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Virginia Tech is not a stranger to facing good Big Ten teams. They did it most recently, I believe, with Ohio State, where they beat them at home in 2014, the year Ohio State won the national title. And then the year after that, Ohio State came into their house and won that game. So now they're doing another Big Ten team here with Penn State. Should be a very interesting game to watch, as Penn State is looking to see if they can get guys to replace KJ Hamler and if guys on defense can step it up. And Virginia Tech is just looking to improve overall. They're looking to get better and hopefully get into an ACC championship game this year, as I've said multiple times throughout this video. Should be a fun, interesting one to watch, I believe. Penn State, I'm going to give the edge to in this one just because overall they have more talent. I don't think Penn State is going to find a wide receiver that Sean Clifford can really trust. Second game of the season, but overall I think Penn State definitely has a lot more talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball, than Virginia Tech. It's going to be a hard place to play. Virginia Tech has weapons on offense that they know how to use, but Penn State's defense is so equipped for what Virginia Tech can bring. I see Penn State winning this one, maybe by a touchdown to 10 points. Then it's a road game for the Hokies. So their first of the season, they're going to play the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. So you never really know what the Blue Raiders are going to do. They're always an up-and-down team. And this year I expect them to be a down team. And I don't see Middle Tennessee giving Virginia Tech that much of a fight. Middle Tennessee was a team that almost beat Michigan last year. They were close for a little bit, and Michigan pulled away toward the end. But Middle Tennessee is a team that could give Virginia Tech a challenge, especially since it's a road game for the Hokies, but I'm going to give this one to Virginia Tech. Then they get a home game against Northern Alabama, and they should win that one easily. It's going to be an easy win for the Hokies. Then they get a home game against Virginia Tech to kick off ACC play. I would not overwrite this game. Georgia Tech is bringing in a pretty good recruiting class. They're also returning a lot, and they're just overall going to get better this year. Georgia Tech overall, not a bad team at all. They're going to get a lot better. They have the potential to make a bowl game. And Virginia Tech, I believe, should watch out for this one. Now, it is a home game for the Hokies, and I'm going to say Virginia Tech wins this one fairly easily. But I believe that Georgia Tech could make it interesting for maybe a half. They could come in and surprise Virginia Tech. Would not overwrite this game at all, but I'm going to give this one to the Hokies. Then it's a road game against North Carolina. So North Carolina is a team that's also going to get better. They are also returning their quarterback in Sam Howell, and pretty much the entire offensive line is coming back for North Carolina. Could be one of the best offensive lines in the ACC. The defense could use a little bit of work. That's where I think Virginia Tech has the edge against North Carolina. But it's a road game for the Hokies, and North Carolina's got a lot of talent on offense, the incredible amounts of talent for North Carolina's offense. They don't have a guy, I believe, who is as good as Trey Turner is, but North Carolina definitely has weapons at the wide receiver position they can use. Running game is pretty good as well. I'm going to go ahead and give this one to the Tar Heels. I think it's going to be a close game, though, and probably a game that is going to decide the ACC Coastal. Then they get a bye week, and this is, in my opinion, the perfect place for a bye week. I don't think you're any happier I don't think you could be any happier if you're a Virginia Tech fan. It's split right in half. Maybe you could have it a week later, I guess, but you split your season right in half with the bye week, 6 games, then 6 games, and it's after what's going to be a difficult road game at North Carolina. So if they win it, they can take a week to get themselves to calm down, and then if they lose it, they can get a week to just kind of evaluate what went wrong. So perfect place for a bye week. So then after their bye week, it's going to be a Thursday game. It's a home game for the Hokies. It's going to be against the Boston College Eagles. And I see Virginia Tech winning this one easily. Boston College is losing a lot of talent, most notably A.J. Dillon, their running back, and so many more guys are gone. The recruiting class doesn't help them at all. One of the worst in the ACC. So I expect Boston College to have a down year, and thus Virginia Tech to win this game. Then it's a road game against the Louisville Cardinals. So this is going to be Halloween. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Louisville's a team that's also going to get better with Malik Cunningham back there at quarterback. He's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in all of the ACC. He's going to have a breakout year. Malik Cunningham's going to put up some great numbers, and this game is going to be really interesting to watch. It won't affect much in terms of the race for the ACC title since they are in different divisions, but overall, this game is going to be really, really fun to watch. This game is up in the air for me. I could see this game going either way. Maybe if Virginia Tech was playing at home, I would give them the win here. But right now, this game could go either way for me. I'm really looking forward to watch this one. That is your second consecutive road game. First game of November. It's a Friday game against the Pittsburgh Panthers. I would not write off Pitt either, just like the Georgia Tech game. I would not write off this game, especially since it's on the road. Pitt is still a very, very good team. Pitt can do some incredible things next year. They have the talent to do so, and possibly this could be a trap game for Virginia Tech. Everyone's talking like this is the trap game for Virginia Tech. They're going to lose a game on the road, maybe to Duke as well, but Pitt is still a very, very good team. I would not write off Pitt at all this year. Virginia Tech has to be careful, but Virginia Tech just has too much talent, again, especially on the defensive side when compared to this Pitt team. So I'm going to give Tech the win in this one. Then you have a home game against Miami. So, of course, Miami is getting transfer quarterback from Houston, Derek King. Lots of other talent coming in from Miami. They have the second best recruiting class in the ACC this year. So Miami is definitely going to improve from where they were last year. But overall, as I keep saying, Virginia Tech's got so much returning talent and so much experience coming back. They know how to play with what Virginia Tech's system is. And I don't see this one being as close as people might think. I think Virginia Tech will easily win this one by maybe 2 possessions. Then they get a road game against Duke. So Duke is a little bit of an interesting team. They are fixing their quarterback problem. They're bringing in Chase Bryce, transfer from Clemson. But other than that, when you look at Duke, they're not all that great of a team. They don't have that great of talent surrounding Chase Bryce, and not really a whole lot else going for Duke. So it's a road game. Duke maybe could play with Virginia Tech if Chase Bryce had a monster game, and Duke might find some other weapons they can use since it's late in the season. But for right now, I'm going to give the Hokies the easy win here. Then it's the final game of the season. They get the Virginia Cavaliers at home this year. So in recent years, this has been a pretty good game to watch. Last year definitely was a very good game to watch. Virginia had not beaten Virginia Tech in so long, and last year Virginia ended up winning that game. But Virginia is losing who basically is their entire offense in Bryce Perkins. I know I've said in previous videos that he is coming back, but I am fixing my mistakes, and Bryce Perkins is not coming back. He is not returning to Virginia. Virginia still is a fairly decent team, but without Bryce Perkins, they're going to have to adjust a lot, and they're not as talented as their counterparts or as their in-state counterparts in Virginia Tech on the defensive side. So I'm going to give this one to Virginia Tech. I think they're going to get back to their winning ways against the Cavaliers. So now with everything being said and considered for Virginia Tech, I have them going 9-3. And I think 9-3 is fairly reasonable for the talent that this team has. And when you look at their schedule, there are some tough games. Of course, that game against Penn State, I don't think they can win that one. Then on the road at North Carolina, I'm giving the edge to North Carolina in that one. It'll be a good game, though. Then on the road at Louisville and on the road at Pitt. Could be two very difficult games. On the road at Duke, I would not overwrite them. I would not overwrite Miami. Virginia might have a little bit of a chip without Bryce Perkins. Might be able to try to go for 2 wins in a row against Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech's got some games on the schedule that they really could surprise. Again, I would not overwrite that first game of the season at Liberty. To me, those 3 losses are to Penn State, North Carolina, and then either Louisville or Pittsburgh. I think one of those 2 teams in the second half of the season will get them. If not, maybe Miami or Duke will beat them. But I see them losing to Penn State, North Carolina, and then 1 game in the back half of their season. So now let's move on to the record range, and what this is I take this team's worst-case scenario, put it up with their best-case scenario, and this is where I expect this team to be this year. Worst-case scenario I have for the Hokies is 6-6. I see them just barely making a bowl game if the talent returning does not play up to expectations, and they just do not play as well as they did last year. And I see no reason why they really would go 6-6, but I had to include it here because there's always the possibility of guys not playing up to like they did last year, and especially with the state in the world and how we're not going to practice a lot this college football season, Virginia Tech could lose a lot of production with guys not being in what I'm going to call football shape. So I could see them going 6-6 if guys do not pan out. Then let's move on to their best case scenario, which I have for the Hokies at 11-1. Again, I don't see a way that they can beat Penn State. Yes, it is at home, so maybe they have a little bit of a shot, but I see them losing a game somewhere, whether that be to Penn State, North Carolina, Louisville. I just see them dropping a game somewhere. Their road games are fairly difficult. They don't really have any home games against one of the more higher teams in the ACC, maybe a home game against Miami, but all of their tough games besides Penn State, they have to play on the road, and that's North Carolina, Louisville. So I see them dropping a game somewhere, but again, best case scenario, if they just improve tenfold from where they did last year, I could see them going 11-1. Again, they'll drop a game somewhere because their schedule is quite difficult for the talent that this Virginia Tech team has, but if everything just clicks, Hendon Hooker can find another guy along with Trey Turner. He'll have 2 wide receivers that he can really, really count on. And then guys out there, maybe his tight end gets involved, the running backs can get it going. And the defense just plays at a whole new level. I could see this team going 11-1. They don't have to play Clemson, so that's a big plus there for the Hokies. So, again, if they get up higher than standards, they could go 11-1. But my prediction for the Virginia Tech Hokies is 9-3. So that's going to do it for my 2020 schedule preview and record prediction for the Virginia Tech Hokies. And if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you're brand new to the channel or just enjoy my content. If you haven't done so already, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the Virginia Tech Hokies this year. And as always, until next time, play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.